question in a slightly different way than we have before. Okay? So I'm not just going to tell you the answer to the question. I could do that because I do know the answer to the question. But you guys are going to generate the answers to the question. Okay? So we're going to try to be making what we call a conceptual model. Okay? Conceptual model. Do you have any sense of what a conceptual model is?
Should we be writing this stuff down?
Not yet.
All right.
Any idea of what a conceptual model might mean? What's a concept?
An idea.
An idea. Okay. So what's a model?
A physical representation of something.
Yeah. Okay. So what?
A diagram.
A diagram sometimes is a model. What else is an example of a model?
Those things.
A three-dimensional model. Those are models times. Yeah. Sometimes like a cycle is an example of a model, right? So we have different models. So if we're talking about a conceptual model, what are we trying to do then?
Illustrate an idea.
Show an idea where? In your head. Okay? We're trying to understand this. Yeah, yes, we're going to do some drawing and we're going to draw some stuff out, but we really want you to have like a very clear understanding of how this happens in your head. So like, you know how you can think about something and understand how it works because you're thinking about it? Yeah? That's what we want you to do here. Think about how it works and understand it because you have a good model. Okay? So we're going to use something called a working model. And so on the top of one of your pieces of paper, you want to write, that's going to be your working model note sheet. Okay? The other note sheet that you're going to have today is going to be your key terms note sheet. Okay? And key terms are going to be up here as well. So as we come up through some key terms today, Lib's going to run up and write some key terms up here so we can keep track of them. Okay? And then we'll define them at some point throughout the class. Okay? So working model is about how things are happening. Key terms is like how we describe those things. Right? So at the end, we want to have a model that includes structures, functions, and how the process occurs through the cell membrane. Remember, our big question is how do particles move through the cell membrane? And in the end, we want to understand the structures, we want to understand the processes, and how it all works together. Okay? That's what we want in the end. So we need a place to start. Okay? So let's talk about our starting question, which is, oh, hang on, before I ask the starting question. Let's think about why we'd want to answer this question. What's the relevance? So like, why would scientists want to be able to know how particles go in and through the membrane? Any thoughts about that? Like, why might it be important to know how things go through a cell membrane?
Shed some light on how systems work.
Yep, so getting an idea of how a system works. So here are some things that you might want to know about how it can get into a cell. Like a poison, right? Like, would it be important to know how a poison can get in and out of a cell? Yeah, because if you want to stop that poison from getting in a cell, you probably want to know how it got in there. What about like infection? Like a bacteria or a virus? Probably want to know how they get into a cell if they're going to infect a cell. Okay. What about like what if there's something wrong with your cells and you want to get something into the cell to fix it? What do we want to put in a cell to maybe fix something that's wrong with it? Maybe like a drug, right? Or like a medicine. If I want that to get into the cell, I need to know how to get it in there. Okay, so these are big important questions that mostly people are thinking about in terms of health and medicine. Okay, we want to know how to get things in and out